Welcome once again to Breakfast Central. Uganda's President Yoweri Museveni has assured that his administration will develop the country's oil resources responsibly. According to him, the East African country will also invest in solar, wind, and hydropower alongside oil at a time when wealthier countries are urging people to move away from fossil fuel investments.
The president, while speaking at the launching of the oil drilling activities at one of its wells in the Kingfisher oil field in the Midwest of the country, insists that laws and other mechanisms have already been put in place to ensure environmental protection for Ugandans. We also recall that climate activists have campaigned against Uganda's oil project, especially against a pipeline that is meant to export the oil to the Tanzanian port of Tanga, the East African crude oil pipeline. Joining us to discuss President Yoweri Museveni's move is Head of Communications, Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development, Solomon Muyita. He joins us live from Kampala, Uganda. Thank you very much for joining us. All right. Great. So first of all, I'd like you to talk to us about, before we get into the drilling program itself, there have been concerns about the world moving to the, fossil fuel, and now this is happening. So whilst giving us the details of this drilling program, we'd like you to speak also to the concerns about the world moving to fossil fuels and, how this will impact that. Moving away from fossil fuels, I beg your pardon.
Okay, thank you very much. That discussion has been going on, happening, but we've said as Uganda, as an African state, that these discussions are just taking shape. It is a good thing for the world to be thinking like that, but we know that most of the developed economies made the resources that help them develop from the fossil fuels. And, they are where they are. We also would like to be there, and we need the resources as African countries. So while the discussion is good, there should be, we should not move at the same pace, because already these countries are far from us. They are far from us, and much of the resources they utilize to develop themselves came from this same business, fossil fuels. Most of the developed countries have earned quite a lot, and it is not. We cannot really be at the same level with these countries before we develop. We are in a continent where people still rely on biomass for cooking, for biomass. People are using firewood, people are using charcoal to cook. Electricity is not in very many places. So we cannot say we are moving people from fossil fuels when we have not yet moved our people from charcoal, from firewood as a source of energy. So we need to be given time to at least have energy options for our people before the discussion of moving away from fossil fuels can really happen here in Africa.
All right, Solomon, I would like you to also speak about the economic benefits, that Uganda is looking at. From what I read, it's not necessarily going to start drilling and selling oil immediately. It might take another 1 or 2 years before that begins. But what are the economic benefits that your president has seen in the exploration of oil? And in the southern part of Nigeria, for the last couple of decades, there have been concerns about the damage to the environment that has been caused by oil exploration. And so is Uganda also aware of those possibilities? And, are there plans to also work, to protect the environment in Uganda?
One, for starters, Uganda has taken time because we discovered our oil in 2006, and we've not been in a rush to develop the oil, to run to production. We've taken our time to put in place the legal framework to make sure that we address all aspects related to the environment, to make sure that our we work with the companies to make sure that the country benefits from the resource. How are we going to commercialize? What is our share? What is their share? Are they going to make money? Are we going to make money? So we've taken our time also looking at examples like Nigeria, Ghana. Ghana discovered oil almost the same time as Uganda. We've been following what is happening in Ghana, for instance. We've seen some mistakes that, and we've tried to address some of these in advance. So as we move towards our first oil, we expect oil to come out of the ground. We want to start production in the first quarter of 2025. And we want to believe that as a country, we've done pretty much of what we need to do to make sure that everything starts flowing the normal way without adverse effects to the environment, without affecting the revenues we've targeted to get from this production. As a country, we expect a minimum of at least $2 billion per year. That sort of money has not been coming into this country, and we need it. It is going to fund our national budget at about 30 or 33% of the national budget of this country. And we need that as a country. We can't wish it away at that consistently, at least for 25 years. So the planning has been really robust, and we don't want anything to get into the projections as we have been putting it together.
Well, projections are showing that the Kingfisher would be producing about 40,000 barrels of oil at its peak per day. So, we'll keep following up with this story. Thank you very much, Solomon, for your time with us this morning.
Thank you. Thank you.
Absolutely.